Hi everyone, this is Tuplex. Welcome to my Factorio tutorial playthrough. My goal here is to take you through a fairly quick and efficient way to build a factory and get to the first goal of Factorio, which is to launch a rocket with a satellite into space. There are a lot of other very good tutorials and Let's Play videos on YouTube, but I found that many of them go on for quite a long time before they get to the first goal for most new players, which is a rocket launch. And so I wanted to do something that was a little bit quicker and more efficient so that newer players can kind of see the whole process from beginning to end without a lot of the additional complexity, such as trains, logistic networks, and that sort of thing. So this is going to be kind of a fairly simple walkthrough, and I'm not going to do some of those more complex things that I just mentioned in this playthrough. We're just going to focus on the basics that we need to get a rocket launched fairly quickly and successfully, we hope. So let's get started. I'm going to start a new game. I'm going to be sharing my map exchange string in the description of this video so that you can play on exactly the same map as I am. Basically, all you have to do is paste that string in here where it says map exchange string. And by doing so, it'll automatically set the same settings that I'm using. And also want to note that I have this in peaceful mode. So the aliens will not attack us first. We can still attack them, and they will fight back when we do attack them. In fact, we have to attack them because we're going to need alien science packs later in the game. But this helps us focus on the factory itself without having to worry about, honestly, what I find to be a distraction most of the time, worrying about the aliens attacking us. So let's get started. Now on this map, we have a nice patch of iron over here. It's a pretty good size. We've got a fairly big patch of copper, and we have 2 patches of coal close by. And of course, there's oil over here, which we'll take advantage of later. And I've also chosen this particular map because it doesn't have a lot of trees. We do need some wood early on in the game so that we can make power poles and so forth. But we don't want to be spending a lot of time cutting down trees just to clear room for our factory. So that's why I finally settled on this map here. So the first thing we're going to do is build a couple of iron axes so that we can do mining. I'm going to gather up a little bit of wood as I pass by. And the first thing that we want to do is get our iron going. So I'm going to put my burner mining drill there along with an oven, and we'll get that started on some wood. And the next thing that we want to do is start to harvest some stone. We do need stone to make more furnaces and more mining drills. Now, in the early game here, the ratio that I'm looking for this burner mining drill production, I'd like to have 4 drills and furnaces on iron. I'd like to have 2 on copper, 4 on coal, and 2 on stone. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. We've got 7 iron plates. We need a couple more before we can make another drill. I'll just gather up some more stone while we're waiting for that to do its thing. Okay, so now that I have 9 iron plates, I can make another burner mining drill. That mining drill also uses a stone furnace, so it'll consume one of my stone furnaces in the meantime. So basically, for every pair of mining drills and furnaces, we need 10 stone. Right? 3. Okay, so we need a little more fuel. There is a patch of coal down here. And again, I'm just going to grab this wood on my way over there. But we do want to switch to coal as soon as we can practically do so for our fuel. For the main reason that coal contains more energy. If we look here, we can see that coal has a fuel value of 8 megajoules and raw wood has 4 megajoules. So by using coal, basically the furnaces and drills and so forth will run twice as long on a piece of coal as they will on a piece of wood. So we don't need to use as much to get the same effect. All right, so I'm going to take this coal back over here to feed these guys. There we go. And I want to get a little more iron plate so that I can set up some of these mining drills on the coal itself so that we don't have to harvest it manually. Let's go see how much we've got. Okay, we've got enough for 1. And I'm going to want 2 of these drills on coal to start with, and I'll show you why in just a moment. Okay, now we've got enough for another drill. Now there's another patch of coal up here just north of this lake, and I'm going to use that instead because it is centrally located between the iron and the copper, which is fairly convenient. All right, so to get our coal set up, what we're going to do is we're going to set up both drills. And if you see that yellow arrow, that tells you which side of the drill the coal is going to come out of. And if I push the Alt button, we can see that. So I have these feeding into one another, and basically what happens is if we deposit one piece of fuel into this first drill, it'll start to harvest coal. Once it gets the pieces of coal, it puts it into the other drill, which then starts to use it to gather more coal itself. And they feed one another, so these will run perpetually. And the reason this works is because it burns less fuel than it produces. So basically for every 1 piece of coal, I think you get 7 mined. So these will just feed one another. And as you can see, the coal builds up here in the fuel storage on each drill. So we can basically walk by, we're going to hit Control left click, and we'll just take out whatever coal has gathered in there. So as we do our work here, we're just going to go back there every once in a while to grab some more coal. All right, so the next thing we want to do here is build a couple more of these mining drills for our iron. But actually, before we do that, now that I think about it, let's put some drill on the stone so that we don't have to do the stone manually. Go grab some more coal. While I'm doing that, I'm going to build a wooden chest in which to deposit the coal that we're going to make here, or the stone rather. There we go. And I'm going to make one more of these as well. And this way we'll have a ready supply of stone, because we're going to need a lot of it at the beginning of the game to get our furnaces built up. Okay, we need more fuel here. And I've got 12, so I'll make another couple of drills. And with these drills, we're going to expand this coal production so that we have 4 of these going. And to do that, I just rotated this drill so that it goes into this one, this drill goes into this one, this drill goes into that one, so they kind of feed each other in a circular fashion, and they'll gather up the coal pretty quickly so that we won't run out. Okay, let's grab up some more stone. We want to make a couple more of these steel setups, so I'm going to make 2 more furnaces and 2 more mining drills. 1, 2, 1, 2, and we put some coal in there. Now if you control right click on an object like I do right now, it'll deposit half of whatever you're holding into that item. So what I do here to feed these fairly quickly is I just control right click, control right click, control right click, And then control left click will deposit the whole stack of whatever you're holding. And that's kind of a quick and easy way to feed lots of those machines at once without having to open them all up one at a time. And similarly, on the way back, I control left click to pick up what's ever inside those devices. So by doing that, you can get things done fairly quickly. Okay, so that's going. We need to get a couple going on copper. And like I said earlier, two of these setups on copper is sufficient for the early part of the game. And we've got some copper up here. I'm just going to grab the wood that I see along the way. We're going to need that for power poles and so forth. 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's put in some coal. Bam, there we go. Okay, so we got copper going, we got iron going. Our first goal here in the game, and really in this episode, is to get power up and start to do some basic science research so that we can unlock technology that we need to move forward in our game here. All right, so for power, we're going to need a few things. We're going to need an offshore pump because we use steam engines for power. We need to get water in order to heat it up and drive those steam engines. So we're going to need one of those pumps. We're going to get 10 steam engines and 14 boilers. Now, the reason for 10 and 14 is because one offshore pump can produce enough water to run 10 steam engines. You can add more steam engines after that, but your water will not be sufficient. So with 10 steam engines, we need 14 boilers to heat up the water sufficiently to drive them. That's just the way that the game is designed. So I'm going to start to make my 14 boilers. And actually some players use 13. I think the ratio is it's 1.33 or 1.34 boilers for each steam engine. So you could get away with 13. I round up just to be on the safe side. And I got 12. I need 2 more. And then we need to get 10 steam engines. So I'll start making some of those now. You could get by with less. We certainly don't need all that power right now. But it doesn't take much longer to put together a full line of steam engines as it does to do a partial one. So at this stage in the game, we'll just do a complete setup of 10 steam engines. They require a lot of iron. As you can see here, each one, if you look down at the bottom of that description, you'll see that each one of these steam engines requires 20 iron plates. So we'll need to gather up some more of these guys. Okay, and that gives me 10. And the other things that we're going to need are some power poles and a couple of underground pipes to route the water to where we want it to go. So let me get some more coal here. These drills are fairly hungry beasts. Okay, so I'm going to make 2 underground pipes. And I'll make 10 electric poles. And that'll give us what we need to get power set up. Grab some more coal on the way. Now, if we look at our map, we have a nice source of water here, which we need for power. And my plan here is to bring iron and copper towards each other, here towards the middle. We're going to turn that ore into copper and iron plates, respectively. And then we're going to send it from left to right across the map in what's called a main bus design. And then from there, we're going to pull the resources that we need off in various locations to build things. So with that being said, I want to make sure that we get the power someplace that is expandable, but also out of the way of those things. So I think right here on the east side of this small lake here, will be a good place to put our power. I'm going to start here on the north side, and that way as we expand to add more power later, we can just move down the side of this lake here and add it wherever we need it. Okay, so I'm going to put my pump down here. I'm going to do a underground pipe, my 14 boilers, another underground pipe, and then my steam engines. And there's 10 of those. Now, the reason for these underground pipes is because I want to have a space here to allow me to move around my base more easily. If we put these all in a row, one connecting to the other, we would have to go around the entire power line to get from one side to the other because you can't walk through these things. So that's another reason, or that's one reason. Another reason is that I'm going to be bringing a conveyor down here to feed coal into all these boilers. So that's the other reason for that space. Then I'm going to put my power poles here. I'm going to start with the first power pole, just barely touching the last boiler. And then I'm just going to hold down my left mouse button and run down the line. And that'll space these poles out automatically at their maximum distance. Okay, and this is ready to go. I'm going to add a little bit of coal here. Now you'll see that this icon is still flashing, and the reason for that is not because we don't have power, but because there's nothing using the power. So let's make something that's going to use the power. And the first thing we want to build is a lab so that we can start to get some science done. Let me go up here and grab some copper. We do need more copper for that laboratory. And we need more iron, of course. We use a lot of iron in the early stages of the game. Later on in the game, we'll end up using a lot more copper than iron. But for now, iron is what we need. So I'm going to build one lab. And I'm going to build 10 Science Pack 1s. Because that is what we need. If we look at our technology, our research tree, that's what we need to research automation. That's the first thing that I want to get. We can see here it needs 10 science packs. I want this so that we can unlock the assembly machines, so that we can start to automate the production of some of these things that we use very frequently in the early game. Now, as you can see here, if you look at this whole technology tree, we're starting here from nothing, and we need to get all the way up to rocket silo. And there's a lot of research that we have to do before we get there. So we want to start as early as we can in the game. All right, so I'm going to place my lab right here. Once I do that, it'll start to generate electricity. Okay, and we're going to select automation to research. Now you can see those icons disappeared because we have a device that's drawing power now. Or will be. It's not yet because we're not researching anything. Now that I've got some research packs, we put those in there and everything starts working. All right. So while we are waiting for the rest of that, rest of those science packs, I'm going to go feed my furnaces, gather up the resources that we've been making so far. And as soon as automation is finished, we're going to build a couple of assembly machines to automate the production of these red science packs. And that's fairly simple to do because the red science packs are easy to make. All right, so let's go back over there and put the rest of these packs in the lab. And while that's plugging away in the research, let's get this coal mining automated so that it'll feed our power production automatically. I'm going to get 14 burner inserters. Those inserters are going to take the coal and put it into the boilers. And we're also going to need some belts. And we're going to make 2 electric mining drills. Those do the same thing as the burner mining drills, but they do it more quickly and they don't have to be fed with coal. Now that we have electricity, that's definitely the way to go. All right, so I'm going to run some belt. So this belt is where we're going to place the coal. It's going to run by here. The inserters will pick it up and feed the boilers. Okay, automation is complete. The next one we're going to research is logistics, because we want to get those underground belts, splitters, and fast inserters as soon as we can. But first, let me finish this. All right, so we're going to place 2 electric mining drills, 1 on each side of the belt, so that we put coal on both sides of the belt. And we'll run some power poles. We'll go up 1. We'll take this over. I like to keep these lined up. It just helps reduce confusion. Okay. So now we have some coal running down the belt. And we'll see here in a minute, once it gets to these boilers, the inserters will pick it up and feed those boilers automatically, so that we don't have to worry about our power going down for lack of fuel. Now the burner inserters run on coal rather than electricity, and you can see here that the first 2 pieces of coal they use to feed themselves, and then they start to put the coal into the boilers. I like to use burner inserters on the boilers, so that way if power happens to go out here for some reason, these things will continue to operate. Belts will also operate without power. Okay, so we want to get logistics research going, but I'm not going to be feeding these manually anymore. We're going to make 2 assembly machines and 2 yellow inserters. While those are crafting, I'm going to get some more copper and iron. These are doing okay on fuel for now, but I'll refill these anyway while I'm here. And let's go down and grab some more iron. Pick up the stone. Okay, these need some more fuel. We'll fill up all those guys. Okay. So this is going to be a quick and dirty science setup. This is only temporary. We'll do something with a higher volume later on. But as we can see, Science Pack needs 1 copper plate and 1 iron gear wheel. So we'll set this factory next to the lab to make Science Packs. And I'm going to just put a stack of copper in here manually. And then we'll set this one to make the gears. And I'll put a stack of iron there. And then we'll use our inserters that we just made. This one will put gears into this assembly machine, and then this will make the Science Packs and then put them into the lab. We just need to get some more power down here. And we are rocking and rolling. So as you can see here, this will make Science Packs as long as it has materials. And that'll feed our lab. The other thing that I'll do is let me get a little more wood. Here's a piece over here. I'm going to make a couple of boxes. And what we'll do is we'll put our iron and copper in the boxes. And have those boxes feed into the assembler machines. Okay, I don't need power there. All right, so now I can put my copper in there and put my iron in there, and those will feed automatically. Okay, so I think we're in good shape. We've got logistics going. We've got some basic iron production, power production, and copper production. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next installment. In the meantime, if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, please leave those in the comments. See you soon. Thanks.